April 2016 in Berlin. Over 180 data protection officers from more than 20 countries met in the Hotel Pullman for the 6th annual European Data Protection Days, a conference with one important goal: to provide its attendees with all the latest news and updates for their international data protection business.
It's a fantastic opportunity to hear from some of the leading experts globally and in Europe as well. Opportunity to learn and exchange views in an area that is constantly changing. The hottest topic has to be the new European Data Protection Regulation. That has been now passed. We have 2 years to implement it, and everybody has to be ready for this new change.
After almost 4 years of drafting and negotiating and more than 3,000 amendments, the final text of the EU General Data Protection Regulation was agreed by the European Parliament, Council and Commission. Some of the leading European Union officials came to present and discuss the new regulation, which is proposed to come into force in 2018.
It replaces 28 national, sometimes conflicting laws with one rule for all Europeans and all companies operating on the European territory. One continent, one rule.
We are going to strengthen data subjects' rights in terms of transparency and also in terms of benefits from the big data world. We are going to reinforce the accountability of data controllers. And finally, we will have a more effective, more powerful, independent regulators. They will speak with one voice. So all in all, is an essential, important achievement.
The new General Data Protection Regulation is a crucial topic for many large international companies. Data protection officers from companies such as Google, MasterCard and American Express came to discuss how it will impact their business.
Of course, the regulation affects Google. GDPR is going to set new standards for data protection. It's going to require new compliance programs. But if you're a global business, and everybody on the internet is a global business, that means every time we launch a service, we have to think about how do we comply with the laws in 160 countries around the world, including, of course, 28 of the EU.
Now that it is finally published, we're actually examining it, and we are going to be looking at all of our privacy practices and our privacy program to actually see how can we design a program that is based on the GDPR that we can implement globally, and actually then we will use that as the baseline for all of our privacy impact assessments.
In a B2B environment like ours, it's important to ensure that the companies that operate in this environment are making the right decisions about whether they're a data processor or a data controller, and whether the companies that they interact with are data processors and data controllers. That's going to become much more important in the environment of the GDPR.
Aside from the GDPR, discussions were also focused on the new Privacy Shield and other international topics. Speakers from all around the world came to share knowledge of their country's data protection environments.
First challenge is like the consent requirement, which in Russia is very strict and which requires basically consent of an individual for every type of processing, subject to a limited number of exceptions. And one of the highlights is also the right to be forgotten. There is a new law on this.
China is ever changing and changing very fast. So far that they are just catching up to learn from the other countries. But in the meantime, they also want to do it in the China way.
The conference also gave sponsors an opportunity to present their business and meet potential clients.
This conference is important to us because it places us in the heart of privacy in Europe. So this gives us access to a number of organisations that have already got mature privacy programs but are looking to take that next step into automation or to proactively demonstrate that they are complying with the GDPR going forwards.
It's one of the best data protection conferences in Europe, both from the subject matters, topics and the participants. Every time I'm here I get to know very interesting people, and some of them stay connections for life, so to say.
And what impressions did the conference leave with the attendees?
Today I saw practical topics discussed, so it is very important for the practitioners, as I am.
I came here to really be able to talk to some of the regulators. I also talked to some of my peers in this field. So this was very successful so far.
The people, privacy professionals, should come to this event because the content is here, there is substance in the sessions. It is not only good for networking possibilities, but if you want to learn new things in data protection in Europe, it is a great opportunity to be here.
A rich evening programme started with a bus tour around the city and an excursion of the building of the German Bundestag. Everyone then had a chance to enjoy a traditional currywurst washed down with local beer and have a friendly chat with their colleagues.